welcome back to another session of Dorset catches. I've made an adventure back out to White Lake because after catching that carp I sort of, well, you know, it's carping, isn't it? It gets you caught, gets you hooked on the fish, so give me a bit of a rush to come back. So I'm halfway through a 48-hour session. I come down with a few of my mates onto another swim over the other side of the lake. Done the first 24-hour. Not really a lot happened. My mates packed up and went on. You'll meet them later on within the episode, or possibly in future episodes, hopefully anyway, providing they're not camera shy. Once again, they didn't have a lot of action. We had the odd knock and bleat, but no runs at all. And I was going to pack up. I started looking at Wash Pit and thinking about Rockford, but whilst I was packing up, someone over here on my first episode that was on Caravan Swim, he decided that to pack up as well at the same time as us. So instead of going over onto one of the other lakes, I decided to jump onto White Lake and give it a bash. I decided to give it a go for the pike as well last night, and that didn't happen. I didn't even have a sniff, and shamefully I'll go through the rigs and tactics I've done before, and I know it does work because I've caught multiple fish in a session at Rockford on the dead bait and stuff, and it just didn't work. It was a bit of a shame. And as for the carp rigs, you'll see what I've done and where I've moved over to Caravan Swim. It's basically the same tactics. The only thing I've done is I've topped the end with an extra couple of maggots as well, just to try and liven the bait up a bit, I suppose, and we'll see if the carp pick it up tonight. If I catch anything else, it's just a bonus, and fingers crossed we catch something. Like I said, I've literally only just got the rods out. I already know the swims I'm going to fish, the same ones as last time that produced. The chap that was in here before, he's been in here for 3 or 4 nights. He's only had one fish, and so therefore I know there is fish lurking about here, and in the winter the fish tend to shoal up, so I know they're in the area, but it's finding the area they're in. Fingers crossed they're in where I was fishing the other week. If they're not, it's just another 24-hour blank, I suppose. It's a bit of a shame. Not many carp fishermen want that, but it happens. But it has given me the buzz. I definitely want to do a lot more sessions here in the summer. Next weekend I'm hitting Rockford on the Bournemouth Tackle Lodge match, which should be a bit of fun. And that's only a day session though, that's not an all-nighter. So we'll see how that goes. The wildlife is about here today. It is fun just to sit back and relax, see the new year through. Fingers crossed I get a fish after midnight tonight and it'll be the first carp of the year. All going well anyway. I'll go through a few bits and bobs as well. The gear I'm using the Fox EOS 12,000 reels. I've got the FS for my 3 rods and the standard EOS 12,000 for the spod rods, and I'm trying out some new rods this weekend, or this week shall I say. It's the Fox EOS Pros. I got the 3.5s for my main rod, and I've got the spod rod for the spodding, which is a 5-pound test curve. There's nothing wrong with my old rods. I tend to get a new set of rods nearly every year, but hopefully I'll find a rod that I want to pick and keep for a bit longer. My last rods were was the ProLogic C series, and they were really good. They're some of the best rods I've used so far for sure. But I'd fancy the change. I do like the abbreviated handles and stuff. So these stood out to me. so I thought I'd give them a go. I only went in the tackle shop to pick up a kettle, and ended up finding some rods I like. But that's the way it goes. You go into a tackle shop to buy something, you always get hooked into finding something else you like. As for the pod, I used the Nash KNX pod. Quite a sturdy little pod, easy to set up. It's pretty simple. The alarms, I've got the new Direction N1 alarms. Well, they're so simple, they're small, they don't produce any noise. I don't like a noisy alarm. It's the only thing you want noisy is the receiver. And as well as that, they connect to your phone, so you can adjust everything through a phone app as well. I haven't had a problem with that neither. I've got the H9 Pro head torch that connects to it. That does quite a good job. And as well as that, I've got the wristband. The wristband's pretty good. It does buzz, but it doesn't give you enough of a buzz to wake you up, so I still use the receiver. As for the spod, I'm giving it a go with a dot spod. And this spod's pretty good. Aidan gave it to me to use last night, and so far I'm actually impressed by it. I've used the Spon one for the last couple of days, and it just hasn't really satisfied me, I don't suppose. Whereas the dot spod really has. I've enjoyed using that. I let him have a go on my new spod rod as well. I think he enjoyed that. As well as that, he gave me a Christmas present, so to speak, a late one, which are the new Direction floor butts that you put your rod in when it's standing up against the bivvy, and it's really helped, because this swim is filthy. It's nowhere near as clean as what it was when I fished it the other week, which is a bit of a shame. It means I'm going to go home and have to clean all my gear and my bags and stuff. That happens. So this is what I originally went into the shop for. It was a new Fox kettle that my sister kindly bought me for Christmas. Like I said, I'm still using the same bait, same tactics, but it's been really warm as well, which is quite unusual. I thought I would have had a run by now, because the temps are in the double figures, the wind's pushing this way. You think the fish would push down here, so fingers crossed I get a run here. But I was fishing the other side of the buoys last night, nearly the swim well, it is, looking over it now, it's the swim opposite to where I am now, and I didn't produce. But they're going that way. There is a bit of a shelf. I did find it because my weight kept on falling back on the shelf. So possibly this side of the shelf might be the side that holds the fish, because this is where I did pull the fish out the other week. But although it's warm, thankfully at the night it is still a bit chilly. But I've got the Nash Indulgence bed chair, and that makes you sweat like mad. You've got to be so sort of thing with it, because you end up having to take your layers off, and then when you pull the sleeping bag out and go to get your fish, when you got to run, cold wakes you up a little bit then. But I'm using the Fox Ultra Khaki brolly. I've got the extension as well to match, and that does quite a good job. The brollies, this is a twin skin, so as well as it stopping the condensed water and stuff dropping down onto your face, when it rains, if you do end up with a leak, it'll just run off of this rather than dripping onto you. So hopefully that means the brolly should last longer than your normal average brolly. But I've been fishing the open front for the last couple sessions just because of the simplicity of it. You haven't got to take ages to pack away, set up. I've gone from that side of the lake over to here within an hour and a half, 2 hours tops maybe by the time I got all my rods out, and it's just easy work. I've got the got a barrow as well, that does help, but I've gone for the free wheel barrow as well, and that helps hell of a lot, because normally if you pick a 1 or 2 wheel barrow, you've got to pick one end up of it, and it is hard work. Whereas if you have the free wheel barrow, you can just push it along in the mud. You don't have to pick it up as well as push it, so it just makes it easier work. You don't end up looking like Hulk Hogan or someone at the end of it, like veins popping out your head and shoulders and stuff. But no, everything else is pretty simple. Unhooking that, and as well as the cradle, I do that because what I do is I drop the net. I have both of them, because I drop the net with the fish in onto the mat, and then instead of having to slide the net out like most anglers do, I pick the fish up and put it into the cradle from the mat, and then you can move the net away whenever. You don't have to worry about it straight away. And I've already got the sling on the cradle ready, so the fish carers, it is one of my main focuses on. I've obviously got your spray and your wipes and stuff for any sores or any problems with the fish. But the idea I'm doing, like putting the net on the mat, putting the fish into the sling and the cradle, it's just easy work, less stress on the fish. And for fish this, you don't know how many years old, especially somewhere like here on a lovely gravel pit, you don't want to damage the fish, because they are beautiful. Especially the chestnut colours. I was lucky to catch one of the scalies with the chestnut colour last time, and I was really happy with that, and fingers crossed I get another one. But like I said, the fish care is where you should be looking, because you don't want to catch a fish and this completely battered because someone else hasn't looked after it. And it is the future. You've got to be real good to them, and you get nice photos at the end of it as well, which does help. Fingers crossed we see one of our friends later on. He might be joining down here. That's AJ. Aiden, I don't know when our next session will be with him, but I'm pretty sure we'll have one soon. Something I forgot to show you was on the brolly. I've got the New Direction magnet clips. Don't know if you can see that. For the storm poles, that's really handy. It just saves having to screw them in every time. It saves about, I know it's only 2 or 3 minutes work, but when you're in a hurry to get the rods out, I always do my brolly or my bivvy first, because it's just in case if it pisses down, you've got somewhere to hide. But it's so much better doing it that way, because I have been caught out by a shower or two by not setting my brolly or bivvy up, and it's not nice to go through the rest of the session wet. I've got a spare set of clothes, but hopefully if I catch a PB and my mate's here, I'd have to change into them. It would be nice to catch a PB. Everybody hopes to catch one, but they come as they come. There is a few in this lake that will break my PB quite easy, but hopefully we get to see them later on, and I'll speak to you later. So this is the winning rig from last session. It's the Fox pre-tied hair. I've given it another go. It produced, so I don't see why I shouldn't give it another go. Saves time as well. As everybody knows, I'm quite a busy person. I've got a simple running ledger which you can pick up from Corda with a 4-ounce Corda lead. Just to punch it out there, I've got to get it 22 reps out. I've got a stringer of three live system CC Moore boilies topped with 2 different Corda corns. give it a go, see what happens. I've got a spob mix I'm chucking over the top of it, and in the spob mix you got your maggots, sweet corn pellet, live system pellet, a bit of bloodworm in there mixed in with it, bit of live system glug as well. It's a nice mix. Mix it up a little bit. I'll probably spom 3 spoms, maybe 4 spoms on each rod. Fingers crossed we get a run. So this session I'm giving it a go for the pike as well. I've kept the same tactics as my carp rods, apart from instead of putting the hair on the clip, I've put a wire trace on, and as well as a piece of, well, half a macro I suppose, won't be a piece of it. On top of that, it's still got the running leisure with the quarter weight, as well as the rig sleeving, so when I decide to stick it back on for pike, all I've got to do is unclip the wire trace and stick a hair back on tonight. It's just a bit of fun during the day, because your bites are a bit hard to come by. It seems to be on all the lakes down there. I'm guessing it's because it's the crystal clear water, I don't know. But the carps do seem to get their head down a bit more at night, whether that's the winter or during the summer. But giving it a go. If I catch one, then fair play. Gives us something to do. So, first night down and no jaw yet, so I'm thinking about moving late to one of the others later, I don't know. I'll have a look around here to see if there's any other swimmers available, because last night I was a bit slow. 2 mates next to me, they didn't have any jaw either. I had the odd knock, but it wasn't like your usual knock. The bottom was moving, but it was moving so slowly. It's obviously there's a bigger fish picking up, but I don't even think that. I'm wondering whether it got hit by a bit of blanket weed pushing it out of place. I said it's nice enough in these swims, but I'm not quite comfortable. Sometimes you've got to move to find the fish, and I think that's the case. The pike bait didn't even really get a decent sniff, so a bit worrying. I said temps are up to double figures. They should be feeding. The wind's blowing our way. It should be all in our favour, but sadly it hasn't come to that. I think it's going to be the case of move and swim if there isn't any swims that I'm comfortable with available. I might give it a go on one of the other lakes I haven't fished before. Got wash pit next to us, and that's a run to water just to get a fish. I haven't fished it, so I could still blank on there yet, but give it a go. The other option is jumping over the Rockford, because I know there's plenty of pike over there, but I'm already booked on there for next weekend for the pike angling match with Bournemouth Tackle Lodge, so I don't really want to go there this week beforehand. I probably should for a bit of practice, but nah, jump straight into the deep end, me. Give it a go. Just a quick update of how I'm getting on. Nothing really happened last night. Well, I say nothing happened last night. I did have a little one toner at about, I don't know, 10:30, I think it was. Line stripped off the reel a little bit, picked the rod up and tried to hitch into the fish, and nothing was there, so it obviously didn't hook. Probably just picked up the boilie, or it could be a fish dragging a weight behind it, dragging a trailer, we call it. And it just happens, doesn't it? We don't always catch a fish. Just got to be in it to win it. It's a bit muddy, so I'm looking forward to getting home and having a clean, having a bath. Got a few bits of gear to wash off as well. But other than that, look forward to coming out back down here again.